And wait. Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Let's call the meeting to order and need an approval of the minutes from May 21st, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Glenn, the treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report, I don't have anything to add, just a note though. The savings account balance is up. That represents the $50,000 that we received from the village for the pump station project.
That's right.
I was hoping to have a final accounting of those numbers for this meeting, but I'll have it in July, but yeah, so we've gotten, the industries have paid and now the village has paid. They just had to wait for this fiscal, they're in their new fiscal year, they had to wait for their new fiscal year in order to pay that back.
Yeah.
That's on the IDA side. Nothing to add on the LDC side.
Is it something I said, Bruce?
I left it on all night.
Oh.
For the loan report, under the IDA, the first one down the list, they pay in bunches. I spoke with them earlier this week and they'll be sending a check next week to get current. And then 2 months down the road, they'll send another check for the next 4 months. And then 2 months down the road, they'll send a check for the other 4 months. Not that they're behind that much, but they just pay in bunches. The next one on the list was some related to some internal accounting issues that resulted in some insufficient funds. That's been corrected, and for May, they're due for June. The next one down the list, the big one, I haven't had a chance to call, but I've been informed by the state that potential purchase by Modular Closets that was in the works back in December is now back on the table and they're trying to come to final terms.
Very good.
Good.
Yeah. That's what I got from Donna Howell at ESD. I had a call into Brad Warmoth, who is the owner of that company. I haven't heard back from him yet, and I didn't get a chance to call the owner of this company yet. But the state they're going to be involved. They're going to provide an incentive order, and it's far enough along that she said she expects that incentive offer to go out within the next 2 weeks.
Wow.
Disappointed we haven't we had to hear from it from that channel rather than directly, but you know, it is what it is. So hopefully that's good news there.
Good.
On the LDC side,
Going back to the IDA, I see
Yeah.
some good news there with Shady Lady.
oh, sorry, Shady Lady, that was a mistake. So there should still be an amount in the past due balance, but that the fact that there was a payoff request is true. Evan received that, the payoff request from Shady Lady, or did Tabitha handle that?
I've had a couple of payoff requests.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Okay, so it was either Evan or Tabitha received that, and so that was good news.
They
on
sold
that.
it, Shady Lady?
What's that?
They sold it?
No, not yet, but it's under contract. And they were hoping, Tabitha fielded the call. They wanted a payoff request that was good through June 30th.
Right.
So, a week theoretically. Now, sometimes it can get extended, but they're close enough that that's the time frame they requested it for. Liz's hitching post, Again, there is still an outstanding balance. Tabitha and I miscommunicated on this. I only wanted the right-hand column updated. So it is on the market. Evan saw that on Facebook. He reached out to them. They understand their debt to us. We offered our assistance in helping them sell the property in order to clear it. But again, that's a positive that it's moving forward. Muddy River Hops it has returned to payments. They've made, so they're current, actually even a month ahead, even though it says zoning deferral, they're making their payments as they are operating. And my kids have made tacos out there a couple of weekends already, and they say it's doing pretty well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hops are growing. They're growing
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, it seems to be a good year. We'll wait to see if the blight comes, but, you know.
So is there no impact from the new zoning, or is the zoning not kicked in yet?
I don't think the zoning's kicked in
Yeah,
yet.
the zoning
They haven't
hasn't kicked
approved
in.
that. They've had a discussion on it, so I don't.
Oh, okay, so it hasn't been formalized.
Yeah.
Glenn, on that hops thing, there was an article in the paper today about the governor offering some money to Cornell to develop, expand
I
this
did
hop
see it in
business
the
in New
paper
York
today.
State. Yeah, it was just in the Binghamton Press today.
Okay. I mean, they're essentially growing to supply
Their business,
They don't
yeah.
have plans to market their
No.
beer. You know, they're a tap room.
Good.
That's on farm.
Right.
But I thought the zoning laws didn't even affect them, the changes that they were making or were talking about. My understanding really didn't address the issue there.
It didn't.
So they're just gonna go the way they're going, I guess.
Yes.
If
Yep.
somebody does something about
They're
it.
gonna continue operating until they get shut down. And that's really all they can do. On the LDC side, the first one down the list has made a payment. They're current, that just came in. Evan, you spoke to Delaware River Basin
Yeah.
Stone? Oh, sorry, the next one down the list.
Yeah, they just,
Not that anybody's listening, but
their payments were a little crazy coming back on after deferment. So what that shows is just that previous lag, and I talked to Laura Lee, they're gonna make up for it in their next payment.
they thought they were current. They had missed some payment. They came back, they had two loans. They came back on with one, not the other. Then they were paying both, and it's just, yeah.
It's hard to get in that driveway down there with the stone trucks pulling in and out and the Brinks armored car.
Yeah, they're doing well.
I'm sure.
Okay, then you got the next two on the list.
Yeah, they've just been having staffing issues down there at that restaurant. And that it slipped their mind, and they're sent the checks in the mail.
And they're good for it.
Mhm.
You know, it's not what people might think of as checking the mail. This is one.
The staffing issue is a problem all over the place.
Oh, absolutely.
Next one, there was a communication a little while ago saying that they do have contracts again, and that, they'll get back online soon. I sent them, this last big pandemic grant to hopefully help them out, but depends on whether they made a net profit in 2019, which I'm not really sure. But I've sent them all this stuff, and I've been reaching out saying, all right, what's going on? And there's been silence again, unfortunately.
Evan, have you had problems with that loan, the new one? We're having problems sending the information back.
The pandemic,
Yeah.
the New York State one? No, not yet. You just go on that portal, and once you fill out that kind of pre-application, it sends you to the next portal.
Yeah,
That's
I
when you-
completed an application for business, and I didn't have
Okay.
any
So we
issues.
must be-
There's
It was unclear whether you needed to, oh, and you worked with another one just
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if there's a problem, I would say check the file size, because there's a file size limit, I forget what it is, but for each
Okay.
document, there is a file size.
Yeah, we had to shrink some of the,
Right, but like, the first one we did, the next afternoon, we got a notice from them saying the person didn't qualify. We haven't sent them any information yet, and so they called her on the phone. Didn't be Amy, but, and all they wanted was a copy of her driver's license, so she sent the driver's license, and then they said, okay, you're okay. It was like, okay, what's going on? But now I can't send copies of her birth certificate and because they want 3 forms of ID. They haven't requested the tax returns yet or anything.
They didn't say why, they didn't think she was qualified.
Well, when they talked to her on the phone, they told her she was illegal. So, of course, she flipped out, you know. But, all right, I'll get work on it. If I have a problem, I'll call you.
I'll just keep my ear out, maybe I'll reach out to, is ESD doing that?
yes, ESC called down.
Okay.
The last one on the list, you know, that is really just a misunderstanding regarding the term, when the term of their deferment ended. And Evan spoke to them today and we're all set with them.
Okay.
That's it unless there's any questions.
The, I read that the federal prohibition on repossession and foreclosures is ending at the end of July. And I believe the state is, I would think it's ended now because they've stopped the emergencies.
Yeah, there was something on my phone this morning from the Unified Court System that says all courts now go back to in-person arraignments. All the executive orders have been canceled.
Yeah.
So that might be statewide on all
Yeah,
sorts
I
of
was on the
regulations.
call with some state reps regarding another issue later on. And yeah, they're all back in the office in July.
So,
Yeah, June 29th, I think is.
June 29th is
Yeah.
the date, yeah.
So you may be able to get people on the phone again.
no, all the small claims for back rent and evictions will be, summary notices will be on now.
Oh, boy. Buckets of them.
Yeah, start lining up.
We'll handle this.
Buckets of them. Good. Okay, any further discussion on the treasurer's loan report? Can I have a motion for approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next thing is we need to approve Evan to have access to the bank accounts.
So moved.
Yeah, so, yeah, right now, you know, we have the rule, you need 2 signatures over 5,000. The only ones who can sign are Jim and I, and it would just be handy to have a third.
I'll make the motion.
It used to
Second.
be Heather, but she's no longer around.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, and the,
We can
Go
do
ahead.
that, it's just updates.
Do
I
the
spoke
update
to
on-
Kevin this morning.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so on the pipeline, you know, you could say it's progress, but you'd have to look really hard. So in terms of forming the Sewer Works Corporation, the town of Delhi did approve the formation of the Sewer Works Corporation pending resolution to the supervisor's satisfaction about whether or not this new Sewer Works Corporation would have the power of eminent domain. The fix to that is that if the Sewer Works Corporation ever had to utilize eminent domain, it would require the approval of the town board to do so. So with that, that should move forward. Kevin believes he'll have all the formation documents ready for my signature sometime next week.
Good.
So then we'll be able to start the process.
That's moving pretty quick.
So that's that. Two, this just came out yesterday. We kicked essentially the project scope back to the industries where we said, we're not gonna build something and hope it meets your needs. You tell us what exactly will meet your needs. So there's a monthly call that was canceled for this week, but July 21st, the industries are going to present that proposal.
It's gonna be another one of the big calls.
No, this first is gonna start, well, I got notice it's gonna be on our little call. I'm assuming, the lawyers are gonna wanna be the ones who first unveil it. So I'm thinking around that time, our lawyer call will have the same thing.
When we do the lawyer call, is that the time to propose a legislative day?
Oh, shoot, I meant to talk to Kevin about that. He was in a hurry, so yeah, I only got a little bit out of him. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna follow up with Kevin on that. So,
To discuss what, Jim?
I would like to do a legislative day at these two plants here, and because Chuck Schumer's office tried to arrange a tour of one of the,
about a year ago.
yeah, about a year ago. It was turned down. And,
That's not very friendly.
both plants have taken a position that they don't want anybody there, they don't want any tours.
Corporate espionage.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I don't know, you gotta
Yeah.
watch that particular
I have a
senator.
feeling that this is
They're
coming
just
from
worried
local
Some
management.
press
Yeah.
person's gonna take a picture
Yeah.
of some ultra secret piece of equipment. What's ultra secret in terms of milk processing? I don't know. And then their competitors are gonna get it and be like, oh, they do that? Oh, it's. So, yeah, so Jim's idea, and I agree with it, is we're gonna be going hands out to these people. It would be nice that they have a little bit more information about what we're coming to them for.
Spread those big blue FEMA tarps over anything that looks sensitive.
Even if they don't do a tour, just do it in a conference room with the blueprints on.
Right, or a
whatever,
presentation, something, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can
you know, they
limit
don't
the
have to
thing.
take them through the plan.
I have a distinct feeling that it's local management that's,
being weird, huh?
yeah. And that's why I think I did talk to Glenn and we decided that it would be a good thing to present to this big call when we have 23 people and 8 lawyers on the phone.
Well, it seems like your upper management keeps changing quite frequently. So.
That's why I decided there, I thought it would be a good idea to go with a phone call.
Yep, and then last thing is regarding our involvement with DEC. That's just in limbo. They're waiting. They understand the situation the IDA is and that we're waiting on the industries. And they've been in contact with the industries directly as well. So they know the status, and per Kevin, they're waiting for resolution.
It should help as a sign of good faith that we got this thing formed.
Right, yes, that we're forming a corporation, that shows that we're moving forward, that the industries are now gonna be coming forward with a proposal, shows that. And then, a couple weeks ago, I spoke with one of the upper guys at Saputo. They have engaged the work of an engineer, because one of the things DEC wanted was an engineering document showing the new pipeline and everything like that. They have engaged that engineer, and they expect to have that report in the August timeframe, which is when DEC wanted it from us anyway. So, things are happening, but like I said, you have to look close to see it.
And when do you think our corporation is going to be incorporated?
I think fairly quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
it'll
would
be
say
ready in a
in
couple of
July.
weeks.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, usually, once you submit it to the state, you have like 12 days for
Yeah.
advertising approval.
Yeah, we just have to, show that we advertise that we're creating it locally and the purpose and,
Good.
Okay.
All right, that's all I have
Good.
under that. The next one is a contractual issue. I don't know if we want to save it for, if we want to go into executive session now or what.
Do we have any other executive session issues on the IDA agenda? No.
Not that I see.
Okay, then why don't we just, Lillian, can we go into it, or can I have a motion to go into
Well,
executive
wouldn't it be
session?
easier just to do it at the end of the IDA meeting?
All right.
We still have the LDC.
All right, doesn't matter, okay.
You want a motion to go into executive
Yes,
session?
please,
So moved.
Second.
Second,
thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, and Florida, sorry, I didn't get any of this is, I'm not really expecting resolution today just because there are a lot of unknowns, but.
Glenn, can I interrupt you for a second? Are we shutting off the recording right now?
Yes,
Please.
Just a moment.
thank you.
Well,
So do we need a motion to come out of executive session?
Yep, motion to come out of executive session, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Glenn, you want to give us an update on the Hidden Inn?
Okay, Hidden In is, I spoke to both parties just this past week. You know, bank financing is taking time as it's going through there. Everything seems to be moving forward, but just an update, you know, nothing's happened yet. You know, within the next month or two, I think that'll go through.
Is he working in there, doing work in there now? Or?
They're fixing it up. They
Oh, good.
are, I spoke to the builder, a week ago, and he said that within 2 or 3 weeks, if they owned it, they would be ready to open.
Good.
Yeah,
Get
they're
open for the
working off
season.
of a side agreement, where, the builder is basically fronting a lot of the money.
So you think the only thing holding it up is the process of the financing?
Yes, and I spoke to the bank and I was assured it's a matter of when, not if.
Good.
And that was from somebody who doesn't tell you anything. So if they were willing to say that, then I'm fairly confident.
Came from the Sphinx.
Yeah, pretty much. Sydney Properties, Evan has 2 things he's working on with Sydney. This is the trees and 8 Winkler.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, okay, all right. Yeah, I can talk about those. So the residential property that the IDA owns, the only residential property the IDA owns, had a problem with some limbs that are overgrown. Limbs have already been falling in past years. So
Onto a neighbor's property.
to a neighbor's property. So neighbor has been reaching out to Glenn and Glenn reached out to me. And we're gonna have a tree person out there next week, they say.
So you said the tree limbs fall downhill?
Yeah, there you go.
And
I guess so.
it's like 2,200 to 2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, to bring some trees down and cut some limbs.
Yeah.
So just to let you know.
Bringing down 2 dead trees and de-limbing some other ones.
And those tenants have been there quite a while now, haven't they?
Yes, yes. Yeah. But once this is taken care of, I'll bring it back. I was thinking about maybe if we just want to sell it to them.
Yeah.
You know, they're paying $800 a month in rent. I can't see a mortgage payment being that much for what that building's worth.
And the other one is the electric problem that I've been chasing down electricians left and right since January. Now we're working with Jefferson from Oneonta, and he reached out with some different news than I've gotten before. Basically, if you guys remember, we've had a private sub-meter on there splitting Ostruck and the surveying on one side. No,
Yeah.
It's splitting, they're doing the land surveyor and they're measuring Ostruck, and then Huff gets the rest of the
It's
remainder.
presumed the remainder is Huff.
And around November, December, it really got lopsided to where Huff was getting the majority of the bill, even though Ostruck is obviously having the majority of using the majority of the electricity with all the equipment they have in there, so they wanted us to fix it. And I've been trying since about that time. And so we had one in there saying, oh yeah, no problem, he'll get in there. I came to the board that he said 8,500, I think we got approved up to 15,000 or around there. Jefferson comes in and says this is a mess of a job. It could be $30,000. There's gonna be several multiple hour shutdowns for the businesses. And he said, we can try to just replace that private, because the job was going to be to completely sub-meter, NICEAG sub-meters, the 3 businesses, the 3 tenants. NICEAG approved, sub-meters. Well, they wouldn't even be sub-meters, they'd be NICEAG meters. And this Jefferson comes in and says to do that is gonna be a mess of a job, looking at all the wirings, how they're, organized and everything. He said he could try to just replace that private sub-meter with a new one, because this last one measures watts and not amps. I might be, that's not what I went to college for. And so they're not really getting when Ostruck turns on all this
Yeah,
equipment.
they're not
at the
getting
same
the
time.
demand load charges. The demand
Right.
load is getting thrown onto Huff.
Right.
And that's where all the money's coming from.
And Jefferson says they have new sub-meters, they measure all that stuff. We can try that first before we take on this huge
Rewiring project.
Right, for, I think over the phone, he said he could probably do it for, a couple grand.
I think that's
Try
a
that
good idea, because shutting these businesses down for 4 hours at a time, you're talking about
Yeah,
freezers and refrigerators.
You're gonna wind up putting a compressor or some kind of a generator in there to hold them on while you're
Right.
doing
Yeah.
the rest of
Yeah,
this.
that would be a
yeah,
wise thing to do.
yeah.
And also, one of the tenants wants the whole building. So separating it into 3 and within a couple years, potentially
Finding him another
making
spot.
it all just one business anyways, I don't know. I mean, because still, like with every property we own, my objective is to get out of them, and we've owned that for, 15 years now. I still want to get out of it. And the one business in there is growing and needs it,
Is that awestruck?
yes. And the other one needs a space, not necessarily that one, and having that whole building would cover awestruck for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's the long-term thing. That's why I'm kind of.
So you're not looking at spending $35,000 to split it 3 ways when you're probably gonna ultimately have one tenant.
Right, and have it come back to, it would, yeah. So that's why I would like to try the cheap
Makes sense.
version. And also
I'll
because
try.
I'm cheap.
How soon can Jefferson get in there? They give you time.
Hopefully sooner, because hopefully this is an easy job that
Yep.
they can get in there in a few hours. That's the other upside, is hopefully,
Right, because if they're doing the whole thing, that's gonna take them weeks. I
right?
mean, they have to follow every wire.
Every
in the
wire,
bill
yes.
To figure out where it's going.
And they have to deal with NICEAG as well, which I'm understanding that nobody really wants to do.
Right. And, this was a building that
Yeah,
was
they are.
expanded 4 separate times, so.
They are a bit weird.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept Jefferson's?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And motion for the trees too.
Oh, yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Same thing with the
Greenhouse.
greenhouse go.
Just about how the potential IDA involvement.
Yeah, the greenhouse is going to be one of our CFA projects. This is our Andes property. I can talk about this.
Catskill Regional Harvest.
Yeah, okay. Castle Regional Harvest, Nicole through either a couple of connections or she just met an architect who made this very sustainable geothermal greenhouse. It's called 90-10. I think it can produce 90% of what a farm would produce using 10% of the land and energy is the concept. And people have tried this all over and it doesn't really work. This guy did it right here in the Hudson Valley. And so she found him. There is a local investor looking to donate some funds, and this investor really wants to get as much grant funds in there as possible. So the IDA is going to own this project. Develop on our
Because
own
we already
property.
own the property. That
Right,
makes
yeah.
sense.
We're going to develop this project. We've called that property a food hub since the beginning. So this is just developing our food hub. I think the total project cost is going to be, the last I heard was $400,000. This investor is going to donate up to $100,000. Looking at CFA this year, since it's very different, we think the most we're going to get is 20% from the CFA from the ESD program, so that's 80,000. We're going to try to reach out to O'Connor for kind of a matching 80,000.
More, 180,000.
Okay.
What's the
All right.
process? Water?
Building it or
No, what?
technology?
Yeah,
Do you know more about the technology?
is it hydroponic or something, or
No, I mean, the growing process is traditional
Yeah.
greenhouse.
greenhouse
solar
with dirt?
panels.
Right.
But you're just using the energy from
From the
the
ground.
geothermal to operate everything.
Heather,
You just
your
drill a big
question-
well on the ground and
Yeah, I
circulate the
know.
water.
No, I'm fascinated by the
Yeah.
geothermal. There's one of those holes next to every house in Delaware County, and nobody's figured out how to get the heat out of the ground. I mean, I got one next to my house. It's already there. It's 170 feet deep. I'm sure it's 50 degrees down there at the bottom.
Sure.
Yeah.
But try to figure out how to use that without having to drill another hole is the problem. Well, this would be a very interesting project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having your question to me the other day.
Oh, yes, yes.
It would be treated just the same as the property in Walton, if they donate to it. It's easier if they're donating cash because you don't need appraisal of the property and whatever.
Right.
So his write-off is simple. He's donating it to a nonprofit,
Yeah.
or so it's.
Now, does that count? Because we're not necessarily a nonprofit, we're a public
It's IDA.
authority.
Right, but it should.
It's still the same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
It should be. I mean, I haven't looked up whether it was a public authority or not, but.
How big is our property out there? I mean, the building's a big size, but what about the rest of it? How big, 4 acres altogether?
Yeah.
3
What's this thing, take an acre?
3,000 square feet.
And that property out there is kind of.
It's not big.
It's terraced.
It's
Yeah,
on the-
it's
on the-
terraced.
It's
So it'd be on
on
the
the
top
top
terrace.
tier.
Right behind the building. And yeah, I reached out to Bruce earlier this week because this investor is wondering, okay, if this is now the IDA's project, how am I still gonna be?
Oh, he actually wants to make money.
No,
Oh,
No,
that's not an
only-
but they
investor.
would like.
That's a
the tax
philanthropist.
write-off.
So-
Right, yeah, it's a philanthropist.
Yeah, so she has a fellowship and kind of taken over the architect's fellowship of how, I think, the original way that he created this Hudson Valley greenhouse was through this fellowship. What's the fellowship through? Do you remember? Yeah, and so now this is kind of her project. And so she wants to see this happen. Yeah, philanthropist.
Where's this located in the Hudson Valley?
Kerhonkson.
Oh, that's a lovely town.
Up on Stone Ridge.
That's even better town.
Oh, it's
Kerhonkson.
on the hill between the two,
Yeah.
or in a valley.
So what you
between
grow
the
in
two.
this greenhouse?
Hemp.
And
Pictures.
Vegetables?
and here's the thing, Nicole is really gonna operate it.
That's where all the marijuana.
So, this is, Nicole's a social entrepreneur, but she's an entrepreneur. She's gonna make sure the revenue works. Microgreens, lettuce, whatever's in demand during that season.
So the key is that this guy has some kind of a gizmo or a process that has a way of getting the geothermal
Mhm.
and using it in this particular.
Yes, and he's already got it up and running and utilizing it, yeah.
I think Jim, you actually saw
I
it.
saw,
right?
I was in the greenhouse. It's not a normal hoop house that you see around here all collapsed and everything. With plastic sheets on it. This is the real deal.
He has a way of actually utilizing that. It might be working out for housing too.
You
never know
for heat.
what could come
and
from this.
electric, or-
He used solar for electric.
Oh, okay.
He's got an outbuilding with solar panels on the roof that furnishes all the electricity. And the geothermal, they drilled a well and circulate the well water
Circulating.
through a heat pump and
Right,
So she'd be able to use this year round?
yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting project.
And there's gotta
It
be
is
money
interesting.
from the state, and federal government.
Yes,
that's
it's
There-
just probably
there-
putting it
there's-
all together.
pushing
yeah,
it.
NYSERDA has assistance for stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a NYSERDA one on the energy side. We're gonna try on the business side, mix the two together, and then hopefully.
What about the guys up here on the hill, the
I think
college,
they could play a part in it.
especially
yes.
the farming end of that, agricultural?
And the solar part.
Yeah,
Yeah, it touches a lot of buttons.
I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I think.
And where's it located?
Catskill Regional Harvest.
In the
Oh,
energy-
Kind of.
yeah, good.
Yep, so a lot of that she's gonna just sell right through
Yeah.
her store. You know, and then, you know, during the fall, October, November, she'll be selling lettuce kind of to retail stores.
Yeah, she'll be able to market anything she wants year round.
Well, it helps
Tomatoes or
Nicole
whatever.
because she deals with local farmers and her supply of produce dries up as soon as frost hits.
Sure.
And this will continue
Yeah.
to provide produce particularly for the winter months.
Yeah, it really is kind of the next step of the whole store
Yeah.
and concept.
Yeah, that's great. And here, Delaware County being on top of them.
It'll be interesting to see.
And the interesting thing of this greenhouse that I saw is it's got like welded aluminum trays that run all the way across the greenhouse and they're about 4 feet wide. And they're on rollers. So you can work, you know, so the people can work on the trays, do their weeding, whatever. When they're done, they shove that tray down to the end of the greenhouse and get the next one. And they keep shoving them, so all the plants are, you know,
Must be some way of, there's a waste product from the soil. Just reuse the same soil or you mix something with it. It might be a waste thing.
Well, yeah, but they must be
Yeah.
just adding.
Maybe they do their own composting and
I don't know.
regenerate the soil.
Yeah, I did
That would be
see-
another way to do
I
it.
did see a compost pile there.
Yeah.
Outside, yeah.
So you don't see any problem, the IDA can give her receipts for her
It'd be the
donations?
same way with this guy donating the land and that.
Okay.
The same
Yeah.
concept, except it's easier.
Okay.
There's no appraisals, no question, it's, you gave 100 grand, give 100 grand.
Do we have to give details that, you know, this is, she donated to this project, to the IDA for this project, or she just donated to the IDA and that's all?
Well, I would classify on it just so our auditors and everything.
Yeah, right.
Without question, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to have some type of agreement with her, what it's going for and everything, yeah. We can figure that out on the back end.
Okay, good.
That's that.
And I'll just a quick update on the Walton
No.
fiasco. They came up with a new approach to try and get everybody to sign an agreement and file on their, it would be filed with their deed to get rid of the deed restrictions that are currently on the property. 3 of the 4 owners have already signed, and they're working on the 4th owner. The 4th owner it's an estate, and they're working with the executor of the estate, somebody that's like a sister down on Long Island or something. So they're working through that right now. That's being reviewed by the estate's attorney. So once that happens, the plan is we'll have a closing. and will take title to the property, there still will be the landowners association will still be in existence. But it owns nothing, it's doing nothing, it's basically defunct. And once we become a major owner and member of that landowners association, we can move to get rid of it.
You'd be the only owners, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem with that.
No, and that means a tremendous piece of property.
So it's moving, kind of like the pipeline, you have to look close.
Yeah.
Okay, any other old or new business?
Just one quick thing, it's FYI, I'm gonna mention that.
Okay.
Okay, so a year ago, you may recall that I mentioned this guy, Jonathan Kramer. He's the the metal sculpturist. He did the We Are Penn State thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, after a year, we finally found him a location. It's gonna be in the industrial park, a private sale with with another business in there that is closing its doors. So that's gonna be a transfer. As part of that, the current owner allowed another business to lease space or utilize space in there. They've reached out to Evan and may be interested in one of our remaining vacant 1 acre parcels to purchase. Our price for that is $10,000. Just wanted to run it by you that unless there's an objection, if he comes back and wants to move forward, that's what we would intend to do, is offer him that parcel for $10,000.
So now if they build a structure in there, do they get, pilot payment on taxes or no?
The new business,
Right. No, Belton's on the new lot.
no, not automatically. They'd have to apply for it. And
I mean.
to be honest, what they are gonna put up, I don't really know that it would
Right,
be
it's
worth
gonna,
it.
it's gonna be a small one.
Right, you figure it's $5,000 in closing costs and fees, it's just for attorney, then our fee.
Right.
I mean, Walton's taxes aren't, I know people complain, but it's outside the village, Walton's taxes aren't that bad.
Right, and he'll put a small pole barn and put his equipment in,
Yeah.
basically, probably it.
Do you need a motion to,
No, I
Set
don't
that.
think so. I mean, we'll bring it to you for approval when it's ready.
If they.
I don't think anything's gonna really pop between now and our meeting in July.
Right.
Good. Anything else? And is that lot, that 1 acre lot, the vacant lot, that's not connected to the other lot? that
No,
we're
it's right
talking about
next
with-
door to
McGrath's.
the Walton Head Start.
And then the fuel tanks that are down there.
All right, yeah.
I mean, they're at
It's
the end
right
of-
in that last corner postage stamp
Yep.
lot.
Okay,
Now, the first time that he did talk to me, he was saying that he's interested in another property in Walton, and he wanted to know what we were willing to do as far as selling him the property.
Well, he's not gonna buy a 1 acre lot anywhere for 10 grand in the town of Walton right now. No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, not that has sewer and water and the electricity all there.
Could have natural gas heat. He buys a piece of property, you have to put a well and a septic in it.
It's a very favorable deal for him.
Yeah, it would be.
You'd have to be a
Not
church
do
not to
it.
accept it.
Yeah.
Glenn, the old Kmart building, anything going on?
No, but that is on our list of CFA applications. We are going to seek grant funding to tear that down. The challenging aspect of that may be that we're doing it on a speculative basis and not for a specific user. So it's hard to know how we're gonna be ranked. There's a new regional director in the southern tier, and he's a little bit more old school and is, this is our money, the last thing I want to do is give it away kind of perspective. So we're gonna try to do something.
And the guy with the old Grand Union, anything?
If we can move forward with this, then yeah, I would try to reach out to him, but
So you're talking about the original Kmart that's next to the old Grand Union.
Right,
Yes.
where McDonald's
yeah,
is.
behind
Right.
McDonald's, yes,
Mickey D's did a nice job on their drive-through.
yes.
They did, they fixed
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
road going in there.
Yeah.
As far as the Grand Union guy, this is a horrible thing to say, but I'm just waiting for some additional time. He's not healthy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and as
And,
as
you
far
know,
as that
it's
Kmart,
bad to say, but I'm not paying $2 million for
I
it.
know.
No, just food for thought, jump back to the greenhouse. You mentioned this southern tier of the Regional Economic Development Council. Don't they have a large fund for agriculture?
Yes, but it's still limited to 20%.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, 20% of project costs. So yeah, I think 20% of project cost, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I think we've got a very good chance to get that project funded. We're just gonna need to move.
You gotta
our-
find the right interested parties.
Yep, and we're just gonna need to put a
Okay,
package
all right, that's
together.
where you got the 20
Yeah.
from, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
real quick with that old Kmart though, you know, I did have someone who just wanted to take a look at it for, indoor marijuana growing, okay? And they just wanted to take a look at it, it fit their square footage, and I showed it to them. I mean, I think they walked in and walked right back out. But, you know, it did get me a little more motivated that I'm gonna, you know, we can still do the CFA thing by maybe like I put it up on the Opportunity Exchange database, which is, you know, it's in an opportunity zone. Even just putting it up there as a parcel for sale is something that someone might be interested in. Just crossing my fingers there.
What's happening with the new Kmart?
What's that?
The new Kmart.
I'd like to.
Is anything going on?
No, we spoke, I forget who it is, who owns it. They're a real estate company out of Ohio. We had a couple calls with them about a year ago. They want to find a new retailer to put in there.
Yeah, and I think there's a new guy who's overseeing that project. I think John spoke to him
Okay.
about a month ago, but
Evidently the Peebles went to a Goobies or whatever, and now that's gone.
Yeah, they weren't.
The old Jamesway area there.
yeah, they went from a People's to something else and it was open for 2 months.
Goodies
And
or
the
something.
pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, would it make any sense now to maybe recontact the owner of that old water bottling plant? And say,
Well, I had an interest in that property. Egley Machine Shop, which is across the river, is growing by leaps and bounds. They went from 1 shift now to 3 shifts. They do a lot of work for Corning. And they called me and they wanted to see, they need a building to expand to. So I called Glenn and we went through our records and got a number for him. So I had them reach out to him directly, figuring if the village calls or the IDA calls, he might not want to talk to him. So I had Egley's reach out to him, but I haven't heard. They're putting a security fence up around there. They just got a building permit to put a security fence up around the building. So I don't know. I mean, that's a prime location. If we could get that building, I think we could sell that to somebody rather.
Oh,
Yeah.
very quickly. Either of our 2 tenants at 8 would like it.
Yeah.
Either of them.
So, but as Glenn said, we can only touch base with his office manager or whoever, and we've run into that with the village. We can't get to him directly. We have to find a way to get to him. I'll have John try to reach out and see. But I mean, that's a good property, and Howard Finch is starting to slow down in his situation, so I'm going to try to contact him and see what he's interested in doing. Because I called him the other day to do some work for me, and he just said, no, it's too big of a job, so.
Okay.
All right. Okay, anything else under old or new business? Then can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Okay, and let's
Second.
I'll open the LDC meeting. Approval of the minutes from May 21.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
in favor.
Aye.
The financials, approval of the two financial reports.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor.
Aye.
Evan, you want to go
Sure.
to Montessori School?
So you guys, and I'm not presenting anything to the board right now, just an update. Something might come next month. You remember talking about this Montessori school, and you might have even heard of it outside of here. That guy has his ducks in a row to open this fall. It's pretty crazy, but I mean, he really knows what he's doing. And you know, he's got the property. He doesn't have it in his hands yet, but he knows it. He's working with the owner, and he, in order to be financially comfortable to open in his, finances, he needs 25 families to ready to make a deposit, and then he'll open. He's not opening without 25 families getting ready to make a deposit. He's got 21 as of this morning. And he has 40 more who are very, very interested. He just hasn't brought them on that far yet. And this actually includes finances. I don't know.
You want a motion to go in executive session?
Yeah, because we've got,
We got.
that's the rest of our meeting.
Yeah, we got the.
We're gonna have to go in anyway.
I'll make a motion to go executive session.
Second. To ask,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
All right, second, thank you. First, we'll vote on Roxbury Mountain Maple.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And then we need to vote on a, what do I say, commitment to.
Contingent commitment.
Contingent commitment to MacRez.
Yes.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any other old or new business? All right, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Good, thank you. Goodbye.